In this episode of the Naughty Gym Show, we're going to talk about why we think Hedonism Resort, contrary to some people's opinion, is a great place for anybody just beginning their ethical non-monogamy journey or opening their relationship. And in particular, why our takeover Be Better at Being Bad week is the best week for newbies. We are April and Scott, creators of naughtygym.com, and this is the Naughty Gym Show.
For years, we've been fitness and nutrition coaches to thousands of people through our commercial gyms and online platform. We've also spent nearly a decade in an ever-evolving open relationship.
This show brings together two of our biggest passions, fitness and sex positivity. Our mission is to maximize the physical and mental health of anyone brave enough to explore relationship structures that run counter to societal norms.
We have demolished our old ways of thinking about relationships, and from that rubble, built a life full of happiness, adventure, and vitality. And now we want to help you do the same.
So hop on the treadmill, start the show, and let us teach you how to never stop playing.
All right, so how you been doing?
How have you been doing? It has been a busy, busy month.
It's been more like 6-7 weeks.
Yeah, we've had a Naughty Gym meet and greet that we had.
We had a vacation to Costa Rica.
That was in September.
Well, I know, but
yeah.
I'm just saying.
So we're talking October. We had meet and greet. Over 70 people showed up to our meet and greet, including Angie and Jay from Average Swingers.
Yeah, they surprised us, trooped down, and actually the night before the meet and greet went with us to our son's football game.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
Super kind
Thanks,
people.
guys.
Yeah. And we picked their brain because they do meet and greets down in Texas, like bar crawls they do some really cool things. And so we didn't know where to start. So we kind of picked their brain to find out where to start. And they gave us so it was neat for them to come and be a part of that and meet everybody. So we had that meet and greet.
Yep.
Then we went to the Swinger Society Red Room Halloween party, the Nightmare something, Naughty Nightmare.
Yeah.
Naughty Nightmare.
Yeah, which was great. We came to their event. They came to our meet and greet.
Yeah.
Because we live fairly close to each other. And so it's great to see, the different communities connecting and supporting each other.
Yeah, I was really excited about that event because I see a lot of their Swinger Society people interacting online. And so I feel like I know some of them already, and some of them I've chatted with. So it was cool to actually meet people that, we've been seeing. And they just really have such a great energy in their group. Everybody was super nice. We had a blast. We had a really good time.
We didn't play with anybody, but we never really go to these things with the expectation of playing. It just sort of, when it happens, it happens. But
we didn't think we were going to be able to go at first. We had a kid's situation, and then that got situated, and we left, and we were a little bit late getting there, according to how you wanted to get there. But it was fun.
And we also just got done with our biggest fitness, the vanilla side of our life, the biggest event that we have every year. And we host one of the largest fitness competitions in the state of Alabama. And that thing overwhelms our life for a few months. And that was yesterday. We got finished with it. And today we're sitting on our couch, relaxing.
We took today off.
Yeah. Well, that was 2 days ago.
Yeah. We took today off. It's a Monday. And you actually told me when I was making the work schedule yesterday, you said, don't put us on the schedule to work because we have work to do.
Yeah, we have too much work to do to go to the gym.
To work.
Today, yeah. Yes. And so it's just been and this is always the busiest time of the year for us, but we've also been working diligently to create an incredible event at Hedonism Resort coming up here in January. So we're going to talk about hedonism today. We're going to talk about some of the things that we think make it so beneficial for people that are just starting this journey. We'll talk a little bit about the resort. We'll talk a little bit about our event, and you guys can take that information and do what you want. But we hope you use it to decide to register for our event and come hang out with us in Jamaica.
Yeah. So as of now, how many rooms do we have booked?
So we don't know the exact number because we actually don't have access to that information. We just get updates from them periodically. But the last we talked to them, we're closing in on 200 rooms.
Yeah.
And I think there are 280 or something like that at the resort. So we're incredibly excited. It's already going to be a fantastic group, and there'll be more people that register between now and then.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. So let's talk about, so I know that when we first started looking, we were just getting into non-monogamy, and we'd been to some parties and things. And we started hearing about resorts that cater to this sort of lifestyle stuff. Hedonism was one of the first ones. It's always one of the first ones you hear about.
Right.
It's probably the most iconic of all the resorts.
Yeah.
But it also seemed to have this reputation of this wild party, sex party reputation, which was a little intimidating and scary. Because of that, I think, at least in part because of that, it has this reputation of being a little tough for new people to attend. So we're going to get to that in a minute. But before we do, let's talk a little bit about what hedonism is, what somebody could expect when they go there. Just give maybe, and I'll let you do this, and I may just jump in if I think of something else, but maybe a 2 or 3 minute overview of what a person who knows this is maybe their first time coming to a resort, what they can expect and not expect when they go into hedonism.
If you've never been to an all-inclusive resort, this might be hard for you to imagine, but we had been to all-inclusive resorts that were vanilla. So when I got there, I had all of those preconceived notions in my head of what it would be and what I would be walking into. And it was a little bit scary until we got there. And we get there, you're greeted by this friendly staff.
With clothes on.
With clothes on. Yeah. You don't see anybody naked when you first walk in, which was a little disappointing, I think, for me. But yeah, everybody's clothed when you walk in. To the lobby, they get you situated. Their staff is the best staff. And we've been to a lot of all-inclusive resorts, vanilla resorts. This is the best staff of any resort I've ever been to.
Yeah.
And we've stayed at some pretty nice resorts. They're friendly. They remember your name. They remember what you want to drink. Even when we left the first time and came back like 6 months later, they still remembered how you liked your eggs.
Yeah, the lady remembered how to cook my omelets, and people remembered that I like just shots of vodka and not mixed drinks.
Yeah. And so we went there without a group the first time. And so we weren't already connected to people. We didn't know anybody that was going to be there.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, set the context about groups. You go to a normal vanilla resort and you look at their website, think it sounds nice, maybe check out some reviews, and then you book a date and go, whatever works on your calendar. Most weeks at Hedonism's, one of their marketing tactics is to sell blocks of rooms to groups of people.
Right.
And these groups,
like travel groups.
Yeah, these groups could be led by a content creator, a podcaster,
right.
People that throw parties. It could literally be anybody, and they'll give them a block or sell them a block of rooms, and then those people will then fill them up with people that are going to travel in their group. And those separate groups can have their own itinerary within reason. They can't dictate the flow of the resort entirely, because there will be other groups there. There might be 3, 4, 5 groups on the resort at any one time, all with their own little mini itineraries that they plug in and around the main itinerary of the resort for the day.
Yeah.
Right.
And some of those groups have little niches, like some of them are target an older demographic. Some of them target a younger demographic. Some of them, like there's bisexual week. There's
kink and fetish.
Kink and fetish and stuff like that. And sometimes like you said, there's 3 or 4 different groups at the same week.
And so as we talk through what the resort is like, you have to bear in mind that every week is potentially very different there, depending on the groups that are there. They all have their own different energy and vibe. And so one week may seem like more of a hardcore party week because that's what the groups there, kind of brought with them, is that party vibe.
Right.
Or it may seem like a little more subdued week.
Yeah.
Maybe it's an older group or whatever the reason is. The weeks can change. So what we're going to talk about is sort of the general stuff you can expect in any given week. Not so much the way it changes depending on the groups, because when we get to that part, we're just going to talk about what it's going to be like on our takeover week, because we'll be the only group there. We'll have the whole resort. So you walk in, it's a normal hotel. You walk into a lobby, they check you in, they bring your bags to your room for you. And they can give you a tour around the resort if you've never been there.
It's a beautiful resort. It's on like 30 or 43 acres or something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
There's tennis courts, pickleball courts.
There's multiple pools.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do there. But in general, the big picture is the resort is divided into, it's more or less divided into two halves, split right down the middle. On one side, it's called the nude side. And then on the other side, I think they like to call it clothing optional side, but the name that seems to have stuck is the prude side. You have the nude side and the prude side. The prude side is clothing optional. You can take your clothes off at the beach or the pools or walk around that way in any place other than like the restaurants and things. But for the most part, I would say in our 3 times that we've gone, you don't see a huge number of naked people on the clothing optional side. You might see a lot of topless, but some people are wearing bathing suits, and there's not nearly as many people there. It's almost like your own private resort on that part of it. Correct?
I disagree with that.
That what?
It's not as crazy as the nude side or as populated, but I think there's a good bit of people still over on the clothing optional side.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's a bigger percentage
during the parties.
Yeah, yes. It's easier to escape and kind of feel like you're on a private tropical beach.
You're making it sound deserted.
No, it's not deserted. I don't mean
and
that.
For those that don't like going to the nude side, that's not a big sell.
well, what I'm saying is the nude side can get very crowded.
The nude pool is tiny compared to the clothing optional side. The clothing optional side has 2 or 3 pools, and a bar. And it's actually my favorite, because it feels like you can see the ocean really clearly from that pool. I just like the whole atmosphere better on that side. But when we have been there, they haven't had as many, the parties aren't as big on the clothing optional side. But that's going to be different.
And that's all I mean
during our week.
Well, that's what I mean by you can kind of escape from the chaotic party side if that's going on the nude around the nude pool. Not that you're going into a deserted
the
building.
Resort in general is so big that you will never have trouble if you want quiet time. Right. You can find a quiet place to lay out by the ocean or by a pool or go take a walk or whatever. There's plenty of space.
And right there in the middle of the beach, which is sort of at the dividing line between the nude side and the clothing optional side, is the water sports area where they have kayaks, paddle boards, those little Hobie cats, like a little small wind sailing ship.
And it was the best snorkeling you and I have ever done. It's free. You just go out and schedule it.
They have a boat. They take you out.
And it's a guided snorkel. And the guide like pointed out all kinds of different fish, and he kind of stirred them up and made them come out of their hiding spots. And that was really cool.
And scuba diving is also free as long as you're certified, which is very unusual for a resort to give that to you for free. But there's so much to do. And even on that clothing optional side, that's where the basketball court's at. That's where the sand volleyball court is at, and they play a lot. There's a lot of sand volleyball stuff that goes on. There's just a lot of stuff to do. If, however, you want to go to the nude side, which is sort of loosely mandatorily nude until you get to the pool and get close to the pool on the beach side. They will enforce it, I think, once you pass the water sports area on the beach side, if you're walking down that beach. And
the beach is typically pretty tame too. Unless they're
we've seen some stuff there. Yeah, it's not quite as wild. But you can walk to the pool with a bathing suit on, or at least we have numerous times. But once you get to that nude pool area, you're going to have just a few minutes to kind of get situated, put your stuff down, and disrobe. And they do enforce that. So they will have security come over, which is a really weird thing, is to have a security person come up and tell you, hey, you need to take your
clothes off. Who's fully clothed.
Who's fully clothed, right.
But what they'll also do, because I always have my phone just because we run all of our businesses off of it. And so they will bring stickers if they see you have a phone out, and they will cover up your camera, which I appreciate because I don't want, it just makes people feel safer.
Yeah. Well, so what we're trying to do is set the stage here for the big picture context of what the resort is kind of like, and then we can drill down a little bit into some of the daily activities. But you have that prude side that is clothing optional, and you can get over there and kind of get a little more of a quiet vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And then you
Except on party days.
and then because they do host some parties on that side. And then the nude side, where you have the pool, where it's just packed full of people.
Mm-hmm.
This is the party pool. This is what Hedo is famous for.
Yeah.
At least a big part of what it's famous for. And these are, if you love a party, like a wild party, that's where it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's at that pool. Now, you never have to go there. Sometimes people, when they first get to Hedo, are really skittish about going there, either because they're not comfortable being told they have to take their clothes off.
That's me.
Or they're not sure what they're about to walk into. They're not comfortable going into these parties. And then what happens fairly often is by the third or fourth day, people have been in the resort for a while. They're starting to get comfortable, and they'll go ahead and just force themselves to try it.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go down there.
I'm going to be honest. It's not my favorite place to be. I go because there are parties and, but as an introverted extrovert, it's too much for me. Like sometimes I can go for a few hours and I need to go to the other side just because it's a little sensory overload. Because it is a smaller pool, it gets so packed and there's very, you're shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, and I could stay over there all day.
Right.
And you're also very stubborn in that you don't like being told what to do, even if it's something you want to do.
Right. Like I love to get naked, but I don't like being told that I have to be naked. Something about it. I don't know. I'll get naked, but don't tell me I have to. The parties are good. We've been a couple times where their parties are different depending on, again, what group is there, the music, choices, the games that they play and stuff like that.
But in general, in that afternoon period, from I don't know, it can vary
like 2 to 5,
2 to 5 or so.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a DJ, loud music,
games.
The pool's packed shoulder to shoulder with people, and there's a swim up bar.
Yeah,
everybody's drinking, or most everybody's drinking,
mm-hmm.
and sometimes things get really crazy, and you can see all kind of stuff there because there's really not much that's not allowed around that pool. So if that excites you, well then great, you're gonna love it. If it doesn't excite you as much because it's new or scary, the first time you experience it, even for us, the first time we went to that nude pool, we'd been to a lot of stuff before, but it was like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. And then by day 2, we're like, we're home.
Yeah.
This is fun.
But I can see how it's really going to be dependent on your personality. If you go to hedonism without a group, which means you're not connected to anybody. You're walking into a resort where most people have those connections if they're with a group. And so we were those people. We walked in, we weren't connected with a group. It was just the two of us. We're pretty comfortable talking to new people though.
Yeah.
And so, we made some connections and made some friends very early on, and we're able to just kind of mingle. But
the first couple of days it was slow going for us a little bit. We had to get out there and start having conversations.
Right. But I'm saying the people that say this isn't a great place for newbies, it could have been their experience that maybe they weren't connected with a group or didn't have any connections or have a hard time mingling with people on their own.
Walking up and rudely butting into a conversation.
We don't have to rudely do
that's what I do. Though.
Right. Yeah. So where are you from?
Which one of the ways there's several things we're going to do to help with that situation at our takeover week. The first of which launches here this week, depending on when you're listening to this podcast. But we have an event app it'll have everything from the schedule and itinerary to all the presenters, live virtual events that we'll be able to run in the app. But it's also going to have a community chat feature where you can communicate back and forth. And we're gonna do things in there to help everybody get to know each other. You can create a profile, all this kind of stuff that will help with that initial problem of not knowing anybody when you get there.
Yeah.
Because now you're going to get to know some people over these the upcoming 2 or 3 months. All right, so that's kind of the split between the nude
Right.
and the prude side, and
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of times is where people really get worried about. I don't know if I'm ready for this sort
Right.
of thing. You don't have to see it, but you can go down there when you want to. And most everybody that does goes to that nude pool ends up
Yeah.
having a
But
blast.
also, you won't be missing out because you'll still have a great time if you stay on the clothing optional side. There's going to be great parties over there. So
Yeah.
if you don't want to be told you have to get naked, don't go over to the nude side and you're still going to have a fantastic time.
Yeah, and we're going to be doing some stuff, a little bit more stuff on the clothing optional side than what is maybe typically done most weeks,
Right.
to make sure, because we know we've got a lot of new people coming, and we want to make sure that everybody has parties to go to and things to do, and not feel like they're forced to go do something they're not comfortable or ready for yet.
Right.
All right. So most days people kind of sleep in late, right? They get up, you go to lunch.
I don't think we've ever slept in late at Hedo.
Well, we've always been working when we've been down there. Yeah, we've been doing like fitness classes in the morning, but then most people get up and have lunch in the buffet,
breakfast or lunch
usually. And after lunch, the general flow for most people is they may go back and take a little nap.
Yeah, well, in the morning though, there's a lot offered. Like they have yoga, they have fitness classes, they have spa services, they've got pole dance classes some days, twerking classes,
tennis and pickleball lessons.
Yeah, tennis lessons, pickleball lessons. So there's a lot to do if you want to be active at that resort in the mornings.
Which is obviously one of the big things we're trying to do with our event too. But after, and I'm just talking about a typical week here.
Yeah.
But, after lunch, there's maybe a little bit of a dead period right after lunch until the pool parties start to get swinging around maybe 2:00.
Yeah.
And most people are at a pool party in the afternoons after lunch. And then the pool parties begin to end.
Around 5.
Yeah, around 5-ish
5.
maybe. And again, it's different depending on the groups and what they've got scheduled. But a lot of people will then maybe go back to take a little nap before dinner, get cleaned up. And then the sort of nighttime entertainment starts.
Yeah, so what we've typically done, and what I think a lot of people typically do, is they'll get ready for whatever theme night it is before dinner. Don't you think?
Yeah, a lot of people do. Not all.
Because the show starts at 9. And so, well, I can tell you typically what we've done the times that we've been there. So we get ready. We'll go at about 7:30 or 8, already dressed in our theme night outfit. Get something to eat, sit down at a table, and eat, and then the show starts at 9.
So if you're the type of
There's
person,
a lot of people dressed for the themes.
If you're the type of person that hates dressing up in costumes, you don't have to, and you will not be alone. A lot of people love it though, and it's one of their favorite things to do. I'm not a huge fan of it. I do it, I think, more because she likes it, but and sometimes it's fun, but I just don't like wearing uncomfortable stuff. So most of the time my costumes
like a jock strap and a harness.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
I beg to differ. I think you enjoy wearing that.
Yeah. So you dress for the theme night, or just dress.
I think the majority of people do dress for the theme night, but if you don't want to, if you don't want to, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to like heckle you or.
And so then you go to dinner. Now, dinner has a couple of or several options.
Real quick about the theme nights though. What I do love is everybody interprets the theme night differently. And so it's literally whatever you feel like wearing, wear. You'll see like on fetish night when we went, you'll see somebody in a dog collar being walked on a leash, or you'll just see somebody like in a black teddy or jeans and a t-shirt.
Another little interesting thing that happens is some of the groups create their own themes.
Right.
And so you've got the prevailing theme of the night for the resort. Mm-hmm. And then one of the groups may have their own different theme that night. And so you see somebody walk up on fetish night and they're wearing a Scooby-Doo costume. I don't understand how but that could be what's happening. And of course ours, since it's a full takeover, the themes will be the themes for everybody. At dinner, you have options. There's the main buffet, which is also where all the entertainment, the big stage happens. And I would say that's probably where the bulk of people eat dinner, but there's also a Japanese
Harry Sans, which they're renovating right now. It should be done by the time we get there.
Yeah. It's what do you call
Hibachi.
that? Hibachi type. Yeah, hibachi
It's
style
really
restaurant.
good too.
There's an Italian restaurant. That's actually my favorite
Yeah, that was
restaurant.
good.
There is a steakhouse that's on the
Flame Grill.
that's on the beach. It acts as like almost like a
Cafe.
cafe snack bar during the day.
Yeah, during the day you can
Steakhouse.
get some really good jerk chicken and hamburgers, stuff like that.
But probably the biggest bulk of people are eating in the main buffet area, and then the show starts while you're eating or after.
And the food is fantastic.
Yeah.
There's always several different types of meats for protein. There's always a good salad bar, fresh fruit.
There's tons of options. You will not
tons of vegetables. If you're looking to eat healthy, you're going to be able to eat healthy.
Yeah. Or unhealthy.
Or unhealthy.
And of course, there's a bar right there in the middle of the restaurant.
Yeah.
You can drink all you want. There's bars everywhere. But
yeah.
And the shows are fantastic. Every night, the shows are great. The entertainment staff there does an incredible job. That was one of the things I was most shocked about our first visit was, I bet these shows are going to be so stupid.
Oh, we came in on a Wednesday, and I think it was fetish night, and they did their fetish show.
It's
and
probably our favorite.
We were both super turned on. Like it was. I'm like, do they do this every? Because I had no idea they did a show until we got there, and then they're like, "Yeah, we have a show every night." I'm like, "What?
Yeah,
That's all I want to do is watch the show."
The first time we went, we really went blind,
and we were blown away.
But yeah, we didn't know what to expect. But all right, so you have the show every night. Those are awesome. You don't want to miss them. And then after that, different things start to happen. So there's often some kind of party. Either one of the groups are throwing, or maybe Hedo's throwing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a piano bar.
Yeah.
Where you can go in there and do karaoke.
Yeah.
Sometimes that seems to be hopping. Sometimes
we've been in there a couple of times where there was standing room only.
Yeah, and then sometimes it doesn't seem to be much going on.
Yeah.
But there's also a disco where they can do these parties. It's like a dark themed club
bar. Yeah, it's really cool. When we were there last time, they had just renovated it, and it was really neat.
And then there's the playrooms open up. I'm not sure exactly what time they open up, but what they do is they take the spa, and they turn it into a mixture of an indoor and outdoor playroom. So part of it's inside.
Yeah. I've never been to a Roman bath house, but I imagine that's kind of the feel. Like it's just super cool. Part of it is open air. So like you can be laying on a bed getting fucked and see the stars. And then there's little pools in there where like you can hop in like to cool off. Yeah. And then there's like the dungeon room, and there's when we were there last time, I think they built a glory hole. But there's several. It's huge. It's a huge place, and then there's showers where you can shower off, and bathrooms and stuff like that. But it's really a nice playroom.
Yeah, it's really well done. They do a great job setting that up.
Yeah.
And again, this is one of those things where if you want to see some shit, this is where you go.
Yeah.
Or if you want to go and play yourself, you can. Now, you're not going to get in there and. I know one of our fears about the first time we ever went in the playroom was like, are people going to be touching us?
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely not. And if somebody does something like that, like just comes up and starts grabbing you in the playroom, the resort will kick them out.
Yeah, they have security there in the playroom.
Those kinds of worries, you just, I'm not saying it has never happened.
But there is a zero tolerance policy on the resort.
Yeah.
They take that very seriously.
Yeah, that is not something you have to concern yourself with.
Yeah.
It is a very well ran, and the everybody there, there's always an asshole exception somewhere, but people in the lifestyle understand that consent is king.
Yeah.
If you want to be successful in, living this type of life, you have to understand that consent is king, and you have to get permission, and it's not just the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
So the playrooms are awesome, and there's parties and stuff like that going on at night. That's the general flow of the day. Right. You can kind of understand why it could feel scary to a new person, because they're like, oh my goodness, these parties and there's playrooms and sex, but really it can be, one of the phrases you'll hear from people that go there a lot or from the resort itself is it can be as mild or as wild as you want.
Right. Yes.
Which is why we think it's so good for newbies, because you can navigate this thing in such a way, the resort in such a way that it can't
choose your own adventure.
It can be very mild if you wanted to. You could spend a week, in a erotic location in an erotic environment, but
Yeah.
stay away from the wilder parts if you want to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you can head first dive into the craziest stuff, and enjoy that part of it as well.
Yeah.
So it can be great for experienced people, but it can also be great for new people. Okay, so let's talk about some of the ways that our week is specifically designed to not only be fun for the veterans, but newbie friendly.
Yeah.
All right, and we already talked about one of those, which is our app, the event app.
Yeah.
But there are some aspects of that app we didn't talk about. There's going to be, we're going to have like live virtual meet and greets within the app. These are not on Zoom or anything. These are self-contained within the app just to help with privacy and things. Our presenters and experts will be in there interacting with people and hosting some sessions of their own. So you can hear them talk about some of the things they're going to discuss at Hedo, plus interact with them.
Yeah.
You can build your own profile in there. So you can kind of search and see different people and maybe reach out and see if you can form a connection. There's even a feature inside of the app that lets you live call face-to-face with somebody inside the app if you choose to.
As long as you get permission.
Don't
live call us.
Don't just randomly call. But it's a great way for the people to start to feel comfortable and making some connections before we get there. Yeah. So that's going to be one thing that's different than any other week that we're aware of.
Yeah.
Then
the other thing, the full itinerary.
Oh yeah, it'll have the whole schedule.
So while you're at Hedo, because sometimes things happen and you have to have a schedule change. Say it rains and it's the day of our beach party. We can make live updates in that app for any schedule change, which is going to be very helpful because you can't reach 200 and, or 400 people.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be impossible. So that's going to come in clutch.
Yeah, that's one of the things that happens there, especially on these weeks where they have multiple groups. The groups all have different itineraries, and it's just hard. If you're not part of one of those groups, you don't know what's happening and when, and that won't be the case with our week. Another thing that we're going to be doing, and this was an idea that you created that has gone exceptionally well at our other events, is called Mimosas with April and Shots with Scott.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about this before on some of our other podcasts because we actually did it in Montana. No, in Montana is where we got the idea from it, and we did it in Smoky Mountains. Yeah. So we split up.
Well, and we've done it at Hedo.
Yeah, we have. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've done it several times, actually. So we split up the girls and the guys, whoever wants to come. And we just kind of have like a powwow. Like the girls meet with me and we talk about what we're scared of, some of our vulnerabilities, what we would like to happen, what our expectations are, and then how to navigate those expectations. But what also happens organically is you start to bond with the other girls in this group and form friendships. So now you've got a connection with people that are in the same boat as you, that are going to be on the resort at the same parties as you. So you kind of have a safety net. I know we would see at the last time we were at Hedo, we did this, we'd see the couples out and it was just so neat to see them bonding with the other people from that group. Right.
Yeah. Like they had been in that session with you.
Yeah.
And they're all hanging out.
Yeah.
Because now they've got their little tribe.
Yeah.
Their safety net kind of.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened with the guys. We just did shots instead of mimosas, but
you really talked through some fears that some of those guys had. In how to navigate it.
Although we kind of target new people for this, it's great for experienced people.
Oh, yeah.
The first time we ever did it was in the Smoky Mountains in a group of 15 couples, most of which
were
very experienced. And we had to cut it off because we had to be somewhere.
Yeah.
It was just, we kept talking. And so it's really good for everybody.
But what happens is you kind of get past like the bullshit, like, hey, how are you? Is this your first time here? And you just really get to the meat and potatoes of why are they here? What are they expecting? And it helps people kind of drop their guard a little bit and be vulnerable. And that's when you make really good, solid connections.
Yeah. So we're going to do that twice in the first 2 days, or once each day for the first 2 days, and just let people come in there and it's comforting to know that other people have the same concerns, questions, and fears that you do. So that's why we do that at the start of these events now. But there's also going to be a lot of expert presenters there who are going to cover some of the topics that we see come up, particularly when you're first starting this down this path of non-monogamy, like covering topics of like jealousy and communication, or how to navigate certain types of lifestyle choices, like are you doing separate dating, or is it soft swap only, or full swap, or what's the first
setting
step?
Boundaries,
Setting
jealousy,
boundaries. Those things are all optional, but they're going to be happening throughout the day, and we're going to try to balance those in and around the parties and that sort of thing. But they're going to be fantastic sources of information from some of the most well-respected experts in their fields from 3 different continents coming. And this is going to make our event a little bit unique in that it's not something that typically happens at Hedo, where you have a full slate of, call it edutainment throughout the day. But that's going to be, super beneficial for the new people.
I agree.
All right. But we're also going to have in the mornings before lunch, we're going to have fitness and health and wellness type things. Some people will never come to a single one of those sessions.
That's okay.
That'll be fine. You're going to, some of you will party until 3 or 4 in the morning, and there's no way you're getting up for a 10 o'clock workout. And we understand that. Sometimes we don't want to get up and coach them.
But it's there for you if you need it. And then Marsha Lynn, who's the fitness director there, she does like twerking classes and she does some yoga.
Pole dancing, maybe.
Carrie Gold will be there, who is an amazing world-renowned pole dancer. She's going to be there for our week. And she will also be teaching some pole dancing classes.
Yeah, and our workouts that we're going to be doing are not go to the gym and do some curls and run on the treadmill for 20 minutes. They're an adventure. We always, one of the ones that we like to do is we get everybody a paddleboard or a kayak. And if the class is big enough, they use the snorkeling boat. But we all paddle out over to that private island. And once we get to the island, then we hike to the backside. There's a little private beach area back there. And we do a very particular type of workout. And so it's fun. You paddle over, you do the workout, you come back. One time we even paid a guy on the beach there to cook a red snapper on the beach. And when they got done with the workout, everybody got a little piece of protein.
Yeah, but you can buy lobster over there. They'll cook lobster. Now, that's not sanctioned by the resort. This is just...
It just sort of happens.
But you can have a lobster lunch over there.
So our workouts are like that. They're fun, like kind of adventure style workouts. There will be yoga. We've got yoga instructors coming with us.
Couples yoga.
One of the top CrossFit coaches in the world. She's on the seminar staff of CrossFit HQ and has been to the CrossFit Games. She's coming. We'll be helping with a lot of this stuff too. Also, she's a big nutrition expert. But the overall gist of our week is it's called Be Better at Being Bad. We're trying to give you all the tools to be better at, and we're using the phrase at being bad as a play on
naughty
society's view of what we do as being something bad. But whether you're new or experienced, you're going to leave this week with new tools for your tool bag.
So every day we're going to have parties at the pools. There's going to be the party every night. We've got our sexy theme nights all set. And we've got some really special things that we're going to be doing for these parties.
Even down as getting as granular as we've invited. There's a couple that's coming that are karaoke experts that are going to be helping us at the piano bar. So there's going to be a lot of fun stuff, and we're mixing up. The themes are going to be a little bit different than some of the themes will be the same as what Hedo typically does. But on Monday night, just to give you an example of something that's going to be a little bit different, that is also the night of the college football national.
Monday night. You said the first night.
No. Okay. Anyway, that's the night. Monday night's the night of the college football national championships. Now, some of you will not care 2 shits about that. I do.
That is me.
Yeah, that's her. I'm raised in the South, so it's a big thing for me. But what we're going to do is build the theme around that. The theme will be a tailgate party, kind of a backyard picnic style thing. And Hedo's their management have told us they're going all out for this. They're
just like they do the Super Bowl.
Yeah, kind of like they do their Super Bowl party. There's going to be a giant screen out there broadcasting the game in the courtyard area.
Their entertainment crew is going to do a halftime show for us.
Yeah, so they're going to custom make a halftime show like you would see at the Super Bowl.
And we've got some super sexy custom Naughty Gym football jerseys that we've made up that people can actually order right off our website.
Yeah, so that's going to be a different theme than they've done before. We're also going to do something that we're trying to keep a little bit of a surprise right now. The final night, the big finale, is going to be called the Red Ball. But it's not only going to be a really cool party, but it's going to be used to help some of the staff that is there that does such an incredible job of.
Yeah. So they have a thing called the Hedonism Fund or Foundation, and it's a foundation that helps the staff and their families, the staff of Hedonism Resort.
Yeah.
So if they're having like medical issues or they're down on hard times, this foundation will help the staff.
Yeah.
And we've heard some really great stories about the families that they've helped. So
that night, everybody,
we're gonna do something special for them.
Yeah, we'll keep it. Once you get registered, you'll learn all about it. But it's going to be a fun night. So if you're interested in coming to this event, we'd love for you to come. There are rooms left, but it is probably 2/3 of the way full now.
Mm-hmm.
So go to Hedonism's website. You can go to Naughty Gym's website or our website, but you're just going to get linked back to their website. All the booking is done there. You can call them.
Yeah, hedonism.com.
Yeah, you can do 5, 6, or 7 nights. We recommend, if you have a choice, it's tough. If you're new, you probably want to come to the first 5 days. If you're not going for the full 7, if you're a veteran, we'd probably say come to the last 5 because you don't want to miss that finale.
I would say come for this full 7 if you're new or a veteran.
Most everybody's coming for the full 7. Yeah. So
otherwise, you're going to be on that plane and you're going to have FOMO. You're going to be like, "Damn it! I wish I would have stayed the extra 2 days." We always take them when we're there. We usually take that Wednesday, and we'll be doing that during our week as well. And it's going to be kind of a recovery day because you get there Saturday, you party Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. By Wednesday, most people are just like zonked. And so we've got some really cool things that will help people like refresh and get recovered and rest a little bit so that they can really hit Thursday, Friday hard again.
All right, baby. Any last minute things?
No, I think that's it. You got a book. There's just no reason not to.
And if you feel like you need a little help with your fitness or nutrition between now and then, that's what Naughty Gym was built for. You can go to our website, sign up for our community. It's $20 a month. That includes not only all the social interaction part of our virtual community, but daily workouts. And the workouts are body weight. There's 3 versions of the workout each day: body weight only version, or a dumbbell version, or a full gym version. So no matter where you're at, whether you're in a hotel or a gym or traveling or whatever, you've always got a routine there that you can do. There's videos of us demonstrating everything we want you to do each day. It's really a turnkey program, and we just do it because we want to help the lifestyle, and we want to help people continue being better at being bad.
Yeah. And we want to pay our bills.
Yeah, I didn't know if I should say that part, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll also be doing an online challenge the month before leading up to Be Better at Being Bad Week for all of our participants. And our Naughty Gym members always get those for free. That's right. So if you're a registered Naughty Gym member, you get access to things like our online challenges, things like we have a pelvic floor workshop coming up November 9th. Cara Turnquist, she's one of our members, and she's a pelvic floor specialist. She is going to be hosting that inside our Naughty Gym platform. It's $25 if you're not a member. It's free if you're a member. So we're always adding things to give our members just as much as they possibly can, all the tools that they need to live a healthy life.
All right. Well, baby, this has been a good show.
Yeah.
Your boobs look great. If you haven't seen her on the YouTube version of this show, go check out her top.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening or watching, and stay naughty.